This is Mooikloof Equestrian Estate on the eastern side of Pretoria. If you're looking for peace and quiet, great security and a selection of mansions to choose from, this is a good place to start. Here you can buy your very own French chateau with a fireplace and all 8 bedrooms. For 34 million rand, it could be yours. Far more modest is this home on sale for around 9 million rand. Owners Gillian and Dolph Grobler have had it on the market for over a year.
We've had numerous buyers come through the premises, and yes, it has been quite, I would say, difficult.
It has a tennis court, river frontage and offers 980 square meters of luxury home. With 2 boys who will soon be out of the house, they want to downsize. But buyers in this market who can afford close to 1 million rand in transfer fees and a 30% deposit are hard to find.
We spent about 1 million rand on the property, doing renovations to the property, altering and changing a whole lot of things. So we would like to get at least 8.5 million in our pocket.
But in this market, do you think you'll get it?
I'm positive we'll get it. We have, however, dropped our price by 500,000, and this year we've dropped it again last month.
It's not easy to accept that your house may not have appreciated over the last 3 to 5 years. But in some cases, sellers are having to bite the bullet with a drop of 20 to 30% of the price they were gunning for.
Prices are tumbling across the major metros. Only eThekwini municipality has bucked the downward trend. And here on the banks of the Hartbeespoort Dam near Brits, good returns have been largely destroyed by bad governance. Outspoken investment advisor Magnus Haystack.
Magnus, your property in Brits, you say your worst investment ever?
At the height of the property boom in 2008, I was convinced to buy into a property scheme overlooking the Hartbeespoort Dam. Banks gave you bond immediately and off we went. And since then, it's just turned into a disaster. Can't sell the property, you still have to pay the bond, you pay the rates and taxes.
He was so frustrated about what's happened to our property market, he turned to social media.
You tweeted about your Brits property and you got a huge response from around the country.
A phenomenal response, and from hundreds of people saying, yes, I'm in the same position, bought at the peak and they can't sell.
Respected reports like the FNB Property Barometer and the Road Report tell the same story. Residential property is in dire straits. And here at Lightstone, where they analyse deeds data, Analytics Director Paul Ruder-Kok says house price growth is actually negative in real terms.
It would depend on the area, but if I'd bought a house for, say, 1 million rand 3 years ago, what could I sell it for now?
At the national house price growth as it's been over the last 3 years, you would have probably been able to sell it for around 1,080,000 rand.
If I'm lucky.
If you get a buyer.
And that's not really showing any growth, is it?
Yeah, if you compare that with CPI, that means that in real terms, you would have been better off just investing it in a money market account.
Lightstone's stats show there are 6.7 million properties in South Africa worth 5.5 trillion rand. Surprisingly, half of those properties are valued at 500,000 rand and below. In Johannesburg, Soweto is the best performing region, while prices in Sandton are falling.
Prices are dropping. They're not going to pick up anytime soon. From the time you list your house until the time you sell your house, you are chasing a downward trend. And so all the more reason to list correctly to begin.
Jonathan Brookman is known as a straight-talking agent. He concentrates on the upper end of the market from Hyde Park, down the William Nicol, all the way to Lone Hill.
We are selling houses for less than we sold to those same sellers 5 years ago.
5 years ago?
Yeah, which I think in real terms is about a 20 to 30% drop overall.
Can you give us examples here of how much some investors have lost?
A house that we sold in the past 2 weeks, the seller paid 6 million 4 years ago, and we just sold for 5,850.
It's the age-old formula: buy property to secure your future wealth. But with prices in decline, we may have to rethink property as an investment.
Property has not been a great investment for 11 years now. In fact, if you adjust property prices for inflation, the average property price in South Africa where there are transactions still is down about 23%.
I'm looking for some light at the end of the tunnel here, Magnus. Not seeing it.
Economic growth and confidence. If you get those two factors, I think there's a massive pent-up demand from young people who want to buy, but they need a signal from government that I can commit myself to 20 years of bond repayments and they will come flooding back to the market.
Instead, wealthy investors prefer homes in places like Mauritius, and even property companies, say MoneyWeb, are taking flight, investing 68 billion rand overseas last year. Hardest hit is the luxury market, which is growing at only 0.5% according to Lightstone. So if you're looking for huge bargains, Houghton in Johannesburg and the Atlantic seaboard in Cape Town is where you'll find them. This home in Bantry Bay came on the market for 65 million rand and sold recently for 38 million rand less. Time to buy, says top Cape agent Denise Dogon via Skype.
So those are the kind of opportunities that I'm saying are available.
According to the Road Report, Cape Town prices have risen 108% over the last 10 years. But now house prices are slowing down there drastically.
Denise, the V&A waterfront, you were saying the turnover of sales there has decreased by what percentage?
Well, according to PropStats, there have been 2 confirmed sales from the beginning of the year, which is probably representing like an 80% drop.
Dogon says the drought and politics have been a huge deterrent. There are also reports of visa regulations which make it difficult for foreign buyers.
The foreigners just don't have an appetite to buy at the moment.
Those 3 words, Denise, expropriation without compensation, what effect do they have?
They had an effect initially when it was discussed, but it doesn't seem to be a factor that anyone's talking about at the moment.
But it's not all doom and gloom. We may talk about the property market being depressed, but there's a sector that is surviving, even thriving, like here in Cosmo City.
2 years ago, Tabang Mokone and Lindiwe Mabena opened their real estate franchise in Cosmo City, a new residential area close to Lanseria Airport. They haven't looked back.
What have your sales been like over the last year?
They've been fast, they've been everything that you can wish for in real estate.
Here in Cosmo City, the average selling price is around 600,000 rand.
For 600,000, you're looking at a 40 square meter house. It will be a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, dining room and the kitchen.
And these small homes have given investors fantastic returns, says his business partner Lindiwe Mabena.
What sort of returns have buyers seen over the last 5 years?
5 years? Oh, this area is something else. 5 years back, this type of houses were for sale for around 243,000. But then now you can buy it for like 650, 700.
But have you invested in the market yourself?
I bought my first property in Cosmo City in 2009. It's a low-cost house, so we bought it for 183. Whenever we are able, I still buy property in Cosmo. At the moment, I have 4 houses.
4 houses?
Yes.
Yeah. And getting good rentals?
Very much so. The one that I bought for 183, actually it has like cottages. So out of that, I make 14 and 14 and a half per month. I don't own that house. So it pays for the house that I currently stay in, including my grocery, including my child's school fees. The second one, there's 2 cottages. From that one, we're making 15 per month. Then my bond is 4,800.
Those are amazing returns.
Yes, you should have bought a house here, Derek.
You should have told me.
There's still chance. You can still buy.
It's good advice. Homes around 400,000 rand have shown 16% growth. Meanwhile, people like Brookman are buying up bargains.
What should those investors look for in buying a property in this market?
The days of owning a big property on a big piece of ground are over.
So a well-run housing estate can still be a fair investment?
Cluster houses, townhouses, community schemes, estates are evergreens. That's where we're going to be living in the future.